What's up, guys? Alright, really quick, I'm going to show you guys how I did the rear trailing arm bushing that I bought from Energysuspension. Comes basically with both sides. I already did one, and this is the rear trailing arm bushing on the 4th generation Preludes, and I believe the 5th gen Preludes would be exactly the same. So what you want to do is, first I'll show you a quick clip too. You gotta, I've already painted this and cleaned this up and sanded it down, but you'll have your original bushing in there, and you have to bake the crap out of this bushing. This one's a real pain in the ass, and then you're either gonna have to press. I have a press the bushing out, or get it out however you do, hit it with a hammer, you know, once you bake it enough. And then you're gonna have to continue to bake, and you're gonna have a thin layer of rubber all the way around this. You're gonna have to bake it till it's like just crispy and crackling, and then scrape it all off with something not too sharp. It's okay if you make a little bit of scrapes and stuff. I mean, it's gonna happen. You just don't want to gouge it really bad, because you need to keep this ring. All the other bushings on the 4th gen suspension, you pretty much cut the metal ring out, and Energysuspension, you replace the bushing, pops in. But for these, the trailing arms, you want to keep this metal ring that's already in there and welded into the actual arm. So what you're going to have to do is clean this all up, and then you're going to want to push the new one in there. Now I have a very thin layer of paint on here. Normally I would just sand this down too, but it's very thin where I hit it there. I did on the other one, and it wasn't really necessary when I pushed it in. So I will show pictures of, basically I have a wheel bearing kit here that I'm using. One you can buy from Harbor Freight, and I'm using from the kit, it's a Maddox one, and I'm using the number 17, very round, big cylinder on there. The number 1, basically this is like, you know, to fit different size cylinders, and you can put the bolt through to hold on there. I'm putting that down, and you'll see this in a minute. I'll face it down, but I'm putting that down, and it fits perfectly right around for what I need for the trailing arm. So that's going to allow me to push that bushing down in there, and then I'm using, of course, the bolt it comes with, and then the number 1 from that kit also. The other one was, I think, 001. This one's just 01. And the bolt goes through, and basically you're going to thread it right in here into the number 16, and when I start threading it, it should pull the bushing back in there, no problem. I'm going to be doing it with an impact. All right, we're going to lube it all up right here. Get it on there. We're going to lube. Lube the bushing pretty good. It's a big bushing, so you're gonna need a lot of lube. Okay. So push that through there. You're gonna lift up. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So you're not going to have a whole lot of thread left, but you'll have just enough to thread it on there. So when all said and done, it should look like that. And then basically you're going to take it, crank it down. Slide in there pretty good, and you want to make sure that you line up with the 2 seams, which you'll see here in just a second. you can see how much of the lube pushed out. That just helps it get in, and you can wipe it down. But you basically want to make sure you line it up. Hold on. I hate wiping off with these rags because then they get red fuzz everywhere. But oh well, I'll clean it up here in a second. You see where it's lined up right around here on each seam, and it didn't go too far. Oops, sorry, out of the camera. So you want to make sure it's lined up right there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take some of your lube. You're going to lube up the cylinder or the bearing or whatever, not bearing, but sleeve, whatever you want to call it. And we got some red fuzz in there. That's okay, I'll push out. And then you can push this in right by hand once you get it in there. It's a little tough, but there we go. Push straight in. So there you have it. That's how you can do your rear trailing bushing. Really, it's not too bad, especially if you have that style kit or something similar, or a press that you can. My press was a little too, the height of everything kind of didn't mesh with this, so that's why I did it with this kit. But it's really not that bad. The biggest pain in the ass is baking out your bushing. That is, I mean, you're gonna spend a good hour probably doing that. If you do it the way I did it with a blowtorch. It took me probably about an hour, maybe more, of baking it, knocking it out, pressing the bearing out, or not the bearing, but the sleeve out, and doing all that crap. That was no fun, but that's rewarding as fuck. That's nice to see when it's in there and no problem. And of course, like I said, bear with the red rag thread stuff. I'll take that off with alcohol later. But yeah, that's pretty much doing your lower control arm. And maybe to explain really quick, you're gonna have a little sleeve over it that this bolt goes through, and then you have that little sleeve area bolts up to the frame with two different bolts. That comes out of this bolt right here, and then you have this bolt going through the top of the lower control arm. So when you see a lower control arm on the BB1s through like BB8, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's the middle bushing that is your trailing arm bushing, and that's basically, to take that off is 4 bolts really if you take it completely off the frame, and then you bake that bushing out and bam, replace it there. As far as I know, they don't have any spherical bushings for the trailing arms. I wish they did, but they do have them for the control arms. And that's something I plan on doing later on in the future, but I had the Energysuspension bushing kit for quite a while, just never got around to pushing it in, and all my bushings were fried, they were done. So it was definitely due time to get this done. All right, guys, hope that helps.